Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So I'm sure most of you guys already saw this already. Alyse of Raw Alignment recently made a video telling the world how she was doing a 30-day carnivore only diet, eating only, or pretty much only, just meat. And surprisingly, the mainstream media really picked up on this. I first heard about the story not from YouTube, but just going through the news app on my iPhone. Well, about a week after making this video that got her all the attention, she made a follow-up video because a lot of people were pretty unhappy with what she did in that video and what she said.
One of the first comments I want to speak to is, it seems like you want to punish the whole vegan movement because your plant-based diet didn't go well for you. No, I'm not trying to punish the whole movement. I'm literally just I'm just doing me. And I'm not here to say that one way of eating, one side is right or wrong.
Well, if your only way of looking at veganism is as a diet, a kind of diet like a Mediterranean diet, a vegan diet, yeah, they're not right or wrong, they're just kinds of diets. But a vegan diet is different from all of these because it's a moral stance. It's a way of life which seeks to exclude as much as practically possible all forms of cruelty to and exploitation of animals for food and clothing. So by saying a carnivore diet is perfectly fine and okay, in essence you're saying veganism is wrong because you are denying this moral principle. Moral principles, you either agree with them or you don't. So it sounds like it's a big no here.
What I have learned since stepping outside of the vegan plant-based lifestyle is that there are claims to back up anything and everything. There so much evidence to back up plant-based eating and how wonderful that is for the environment and our health and everything. There are claims to back up carnivore eating.
So what I see here is Alyse jumping from one trendy hashtag diet raw to the new trendy hashtag diet carnivore. Notice how she said here there's claims supporting carnivore diets. Yeah, anyone can claim anything, but there's absolutely zero science supporting any healthful benefits for carnivore diet. Just like there are zero scientific studies supporting the healthful benefits of raw diets. In fact, there have been a handful of studies on raw diets, and no surprise, they haven't been that promising.
It's very difficult to find evidence of people being able to thrive on raw food. On the right-hand side, what you see is data for raw foodists, with the best data being these ones, a study of 572 German raw foodists. And as they increase their intake of raw food, so their body mass index, shown on this axis, declined. And all of the raw foodists have got a low body mass index compared to those eating their food cooked.
So if you're raw and watching this, you're probably thinking, who cares if I weigh a little bit less than regular people eating all these toxic cooked foods? Well, there is a problem if you're not getting enough energy for your body to do what it needs to do.
Here are the data from that German study. What we see is that as the amount of food eaten raw increases up to 100%, 50% of women by that point are amenorrheic. Their menstrual cycles have closed down altogether. This appears to be because they are short of energy.
So yeah, just keep jumping from one trendy diet not supported by science to another trendy diet not supported by science. And another thing that kind of rubbed me wrong in her response here is that she's arguing for this kind of relativism, saying, oh, there's people saying good things about vegan, but people saying good things about all these other diets. So just kind of throw your hands up in the air and say, there's no truth. I'm just going to do what my intuition tells me to do.
There are claims to back up carnivore eating, ketogenic eating, paleo eating, not plant-based eating, and how that is actually better for our environment and our health.
Yes, like I said, anyone can make any claim about anything on their YouTube channel or blog, but not all of these claims have any kind of scientific support whatsoever to back them up. You're talking about how a paleo diet or carnivore diet might be better for the environment than, say, a plant-based diet. And that is just complete nonsense. Do you have any scientific support to show that? Well, let me show you the United Nations FAO committee, the Food and Agricultural Organization's report here about the effects of animal agriculture on biodiversity loss, on greenhouse gas emissions, and it's clear that animal agriculture, raising food for animals, land use for these crops grown for animals, is what's causing these environmental problems, not growing food for humans. And the UN has also studied which diets are most environmentally friendly, and at the very top of their list is the completely vegan diet. So enough with this relativism nonsense. It's an objective fact which diets are best for the environment, and it's not carnivore or paleo or anything like that. It's a vegan diet.
What I have learned since then, and since opening my eyes to other perspectives and other information, is that there is a ton of rodents and insects and small animals that are killed in the process of growing and harvesting corn and wheat and soy and rice and all of these different vegan staple items.
Oh no, he didn't go there. Not the dreaded combine harvester argument. I mean, if you were a vegan in the past, you would know this argument makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I know you were fruitarian in Hawaii. There's no combine harvesters harvesting bananas, durian, and mangoes. But let's get to these food crops that you mentioned here that you called out as staples for vegans, like soy and corn and these grains. I mean, anyone who's ever did any research in this matter would know that pretty much all soy grown in the United States is used as livestock feed. And same with corn. Most corn is used as livestock feed or ethanol to fuel cars. Again, a very small percentage actually makes its way to human beings, let alone vegans. And in case you're worried about what happens to mice in these fields when combine harvesters are let loose, well, scientists have placed radio tracking devices on these mice and have found that there is little to no effect upon these mice when combine harvesters are let loose on these fields, which makes a lot of sense. These machines are big and loud, and you can see them coming from a mile away, and animals aren't stupid, just like they're not stupid when you're next to them. Mice and rabbits will run away from you. So yeah, it makes sense. And furthermore, there have been calculations to estimate how many animals are killed to produce 1 million calories of food in 8 different food categories. And look here, it's way better to eat on the lower side of this chart, which are grains, fruits, and vegetables, rather than animal products, which are at the top of the chart.
Not only that, but the resources that it takes to yield mass quantities of crops like that is arguably worse for the environment than it is to be raising grass-fed beef.
Again, no support to anything you're saying here. Are you just making this up? Are you repeating stuff that you heard other people say on their blogs? I mean, let's look at an actual study that actually measured the resources required to produce beef in the conventional method, factory farming, versus grass-fed natural methods. And actually, strangely, conventional farming is far more efficient. Conventional farming requires only 1/4 of the water compared to grass-fed, and about half the land and about half the total number of animals. And then there's this University of Michigan study which measured the resources required to produce an equivalent weight of traditional beef burger versus a Beyond Burger. And the traditional beef burgers, remember, they're not grass-fed, so it'd be even worse since grass-fed beef requires way more water and land usage. But let's compare the numbers here, because the Beyond Burger kicked this traditional beef burger's numbers. It required 99% less water and 93% land to produce the Beyond Burger. So if we go back to her original video, the one that got her all that major media attention, Alyse does produce one chart, one fact that we can finally sink our teeth into.
While this diet may seem to be absolutely crazy, there are actually many reasons why someone would willingly choose to eat this way.
So this chart seems to be saying if we reduce our dietary fiber, there are certain health benefits, such as help with constipation and bloating. Well, let's start with the constipation, because this runs contrary to everything we've heard. We've heard that dietary fiber is crucial for good bowel movements. Combine this with the fact that 95% of Americans don't get enough fiber in their diets already. Why would we want to reduce fiber? And given the fact that dietary fiber is associated with reduced risk for the leading causes of death, so why in the world, again, why would we want to reduce our fiber intake? What is up with this chart? Well, actually, Vegan Gains did an excellent job of explaining why.
Well, this was actually taken from a study titled "Stopping or Reducing Dietary Fiber Intake Reduces Constipation and Its Associated Symptoms." And if you actually read this paper, the study population only included those suffering from idiopathic constipation, which just means constipation without any obvious cause. So the vast majority of the population doesn't suffer from idiopathic constipation, and that includes Alyse herself. And so Why are you claiming that reducing constipation is a benefit to a zero-fiber diet when that's not true of yourself, and that's not true of the vast majority of the population? And if you actually look at the diet group that has the least risk of constipation, it's vegans, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. They have the most frequent bowel movements.
So yes, Alyse's use of that chart trying to imply that zero dietary fiber intake while on a carnivore diet is somehow good and healthy for healthy people is completely misleading and disingenuous. As Vegan Gains show there, that chart applied to people that only had a certain health condition.
It has been shown to help relieve the symptoms from many illnesses such as autoimmunity, fatigue, obesity, inflammatory diseases, and more.
Again, where's the studies? Where's the references? You're just making stuff up or repeating stuff that you heard from other people.
But what about the body's nutritional needs? Won't you lack some of the necessary vitamins and minerals that a more balanced diet can provide? Well, actually, most of the advocates for the carnivore diet claim that meat contains all of the vitamins and minerals that your body needs to not only survive, but to thrive.
You may have not seen what just happened there, but what she showed there was extremely misleading. She was talking about advocates of the carnivore diet, saying it's healthy and you get all your nutrients. And when she was saying advocates of the carnivore diet, she showed an image of Dr. Mark Hyman sitting on the couch here, implying that he's an advocate, saying this diet is safe and everything. Well, Dr. Hyman has never advocated for a carnivore diet. He's a clear advocate of eating both meat and plants. So to imply that he gives the carnivore diet his stamp of approval is extremely misleading.
We can't trust you because you, and the reason I'm looking over here is I just have notes so I don't forget anything, is because you talked about these benefits with veganism and then revealed major health issues. So why should we trust what you say now?
So yes, Alyse had health issues while she was vegan, which led her to no longer be vegan. And it's my firm belief, because I've seen this pattern over and over and over and over again. And all these people who were formerly vegan and come out and make a video, I quit being vegan, in that they have in common a history of extreme and restrictive dieting, which includes long-term raw diets, water fasting, and in her case, some weird juicing.
Hey guys, so it is 2:30 p.m. right now, and I am on, I think, my fourth or my fifth 16-ounce jar of sugarcane mixed with coconut water.
I mean, please, really, you think this is a good idea? Consuming nothing but sugarcane and coconut water all day? You're like on your fifth one here, and it's only like 2:30 in the afternoon. Well, let's see how that made her feel.
So I really haven't been noticing any like crazy, amazing, significant improvements in the way that I'm feeling since I started juicing. Aside from obvious weight loss and improved digestion.
So even more weight loss, which can't be a good thing, because as we saw earlier in Dr. Richard Wrangham's presentation on that study of raw food people, which showed that raw foodists already have abnormally low body mass indexes. So once you combine that extreme way of eating with other extreme practices such as water fasting or sugar cane juice fasts, and it just seems to me like a recipe for failing. Not only failing as a vegan, but just failing bodily wise, health wise, and developing health conditions that require treatment such as antibiotics. Like diet alone can't fix it. So I know it's not that exciting and glamorous and romantic to say, hey, I eat a whole food plant-based diet. It's not that trendy. It's not as trendy as raw and carnivore, but it's the only one of these three diets that is backed by science, solid science, not just a few fringe studies, but the preponderance of scientific evidence. So anyway, leave your questions and comments down below. What did you think when you saw Alyse's videos? Have you seen it in the mainstream media? I heard it might even make it to Good Morning America. She might make it onto their TV show. She was already on their website. So this is crazy. See, this would never happen to people like us. Here's some healthy 52-year-olds who've been vegan for 9 years, and they're eating a bunch of rice and potatoes and vegetables and bananas, and they're doing well. Now, I guess, it's not as sensationalistic, and the media likes these crazy stories, especially ones that make vegan diets look bad. So leave your questions and comments down below. Share this video. Hit like to make sure YouTube knows this is a video that people need to see. And until next time, guys, just remember, it's be sensible, it's eat a whole food plant-based diet that's supported by science, and let's vote vegan.
Got me spinning circles, spinning to the